Yeah, thanks for coming out. It was a pretty successful pro day here. A lot of guys did some really good things, and I think impressed the GMs, the scouts, the coaches that were in attendance. Talking specifics, Anthony Barr came out and he clocked it was actually a 4.45 electronic, and improved his bench from 15 to 19. After he came back from the combine, he went back to work with Coach Alosi and made some huge gains. Did a tremendous job. Shaq turned in now these are electronic times. He ran a 4.32 electronic. Once again, I think the work that he's done with Coach Alosi has paid off. Cassius came back, improved his time to a 4.68 electronic. He's back working with Coach Alosi as well. So I think you're seeing these gains in really just 2 short weeks, and it's really impressive. You see a guy like X, and one of the things that was really impressive about X is him sitting there with the scouts and the coaches, and they're saying, why is this guy doing all these drills? He did so well at the combine. And it just goes to show the character of Xavier. He always wants to be competing. He always wants to be improving. His electronic 40 was a 4.88. Very impressive. A lot of these scouts out here today think that he's the best guard in the draft. I had 2 scouts tell me that he was the best guard coming out since Steve Hutchinson, which is saying a lot. Now, that's just a couple guys' opinion. That's obviously not all 32 teams' opinions, but pretty impressive showing by him. Jordan Zumwalt ran a 4.61 electronic. Did a really nice job. Damian Thig. We had a number of guys under 4.4. Now, once again, these are electronic, okay, which is different than a handheld, but it's a more true time. And Thiggy was a 4.36. Stan McKay was a 4.38. Malcolm Jones ran a 4.57. Really had a good day for the scouts today. Brandon Sermons ran a 4.39. We had a couple guys come back that gave it a shot last year. Aaron Hester ran a 4.37. Jerry Johnson ran a 4.31. Once again, electronic. Now, those times, people are going to hear that and they're going to go, that's insane. You don't have that many fast guys. Once again, these are electronic times, okay? And if I was out there scouting and I heard that, I'd say, I don't know about that. But once again, they're pretty true times. But it was a successful day. It's a great way to showcase what's happening around here. Today was all about those guys, though. We try to create an environment here where they can go out and have a job interview, because that's what it is for them. And I thought they all showed very, very well.
Coach, did you feel like a proud papa watching your guys out on the field and watching them grow and how they've grown and matured over the last few weeks?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been to hundreds of these pro days, hundreds of them, in 6 years that I was coaching in the NFL. But they're all, it's so different when it's guys that you've coached. There's a different energy, a different excitement, a different anticipation, anxiety, and it's really fun to see those guys come out and do well. Oftentimes when you're a pro day as a pro coach, you're there to see one guy. And here I'm seeing 15 or 16 or 17 kids that I really care about, and it's exciting when they do something well.
And because of your previous experience, you were able to really give them a little more insight that maybe they couldn't get at other places.
Well, just having the experience I've had in the NFL, and Coach Alosi having that experience, and Coach Olbrich, and Coach Clem, and Coach Yarber, and really Coach Polamalu is we're able to really teach them what it takes to perform well out here, to be ready to go at the next level, from a mental standpoint, from a work ethic, from a mindset, how to prepare to watch film, all of those things, because we've all been there. And I think it's a real advantage in this program having had that. And I think it's showing up. I think it's showing up in a big way.
Jordan said that your final instructions in the corner were don't tense up.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. Did you feel that they were pretty loose out there today?
Yeah, I thought they were all very confident, and they should be confident because they're very well prepared. If you have the chance to work with Sal Alosi, you're going to be prepared. All you have to do is what he asked you to do, and you're going to be prepared. And I think that they all came out here with a great deal of confidence because they knew that they were prepared. We spent the last 2 years preparing them not only for this moment, but for the moments that are about to enter their life at the NFL level. And I think they're very confident, and they should be.
With AB, it seemed like in the last few months he was maybe dropping a little bit on mock drafts.
Mock drafts are typically made by guys that have a limited access to information. They don't get to see the entire picture. Typically, unless you're a guy like Mike Mayock, you don't get to watch a lot of game film. Now, you might watch TV copies, but you don't get to watch coaches' film. And you get a different perspective when you're watching coaches' film. And it's the GMs, it's the head coaches, it's the coordinators and the position coaches that are going to determine where a guy's picked. So I mean, I think it's fun. It's interesting to pay attention to the mock drafts, but they're when it gets right down to it, they're all kind of what they are, which is just, you know, prognostications on paper by guys that don't know the entire picture.
With your NFL experience, does he still kind of strike you as a guy who seems like a top 5
Anthony?
pick? Yeah.
I think definitely in the top 10 from what I got from the guys today. You know, and they understand with Anthony the ceiling is so high. You know, he's only played the position for 2 years, and they see the talent. And then, you know, he comes out today and he runs a 4.45 at 247 pounds and 6'4.5", and then he goes and he benches 19 times, which is a 4-rep improvement over 2 weeks ago. And so they understand that there's so much room for growth. You know, you look at a guy like Xavier Suafilo and you know, the athleticism and the footwork that he showed out there, plus the stamina. I mean, you know, those coaches, you come in here with an agenda. It's to find out a lot about these kids, what their work ethic is, you know, what their threshold is, how far can you push them, how are they going to react when you're pushing them. It's not just about watching athleticism, about diving into their character. And I think that our guys really show well when it comes to that, when it comes to character and work ethic and toughness and the things that are important to the scouts, the people at the next level.
After the combine, did you provide a lot of input for them on like how you would want to see them improve before Pro Day today?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. You know, my first suggestion was come back and work with Coach Alosi. You know, we've got Dayton Jones works out here. Jonathan Franklin works out here. You know, these are guys that have been with Coach Alosi. They've been at the next level. They've chosen to come back here. This is the guy that knows their bodies the best. You know, he knows how to push them. He's a guy that is one of the most respected strength and conditioning coaches, not just in college football, but in all of football. So it doesn't make any sense to me why anyone would go anywhere else to train. Those guys came back here. They showed tremendous improvement, and they're going to stick with him.
Jim, what is your opinion on the debate about how much this stuff matters compared to can a guy play? Where have you always fallen in that regard?
You got to look at the film, you know, but this is a chance to come out and see a guy on the hoof, as they say, you know, see what his body structure looks like, watch him move through drills, you know, see how competitive he is in an environment like this. It's an opportunity to interview these guys, watch film with them. You know, the San Diego Chargers were in this morning watching film with Anthony Barr at 7:30 in the morning, you know, and to pick his brain on football to the extent that you're not able to do at the Combine. At the Combine, you get 15 minutes. Here, they can have all day. What I used to do is call a guy and say, hey, listen, I'm staying at, you know, for instance, the W Hotel. Pick me up at this time, pick out a restaurant, and we'll go have dinner and see if the guy was on time. Was his car clean or was it a mess? Did he have a restaurant picked out? Did he know how to get to the restaurant? You know, was he responsible? Was he on time? You know, and then the next day, watch film. Can he talk about the position? You know, can he talk about coaching points? Does he understand offense if he's on defense and defense if he's on offense? And so, I mean, I've scouted hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of players. So just the fact that we can bring in Anthony Barr and say, hey, this is what you can expect. If they want to have dinner with you, you need to be ready to do these things. The way you dress, what you say, how you shake their hand, how you look them in the eye, all those things are part of the evaluation. But they're just a small part. It's what you do on tape that really matters.
But when if a guy has a messy car, how would that affect?
Because everything, these scouts, these teams are getting ready to invest millions and millions and millions of dollars, not just in the contract, but they're spending millions of dollars in this evaluation period. I mean, millions of dollars. You only get 7 picks plus your compensatory picks. So you better be right. I mean, you are going to dig for everything. And it might just be the most minuscule thing that makes a difference between being drafted in the top 5 and being drafted 13 or 18. And you're talking about millions of dollars of difference in those jumps. So I mean, I'm telling you what, you evaluate everything to the point where you go way overboard. But you got to know. You've got to know that you're making the right decision.
So did you ever, in your years of doing this, get hung up on somebody over something and then think back, maybe that wasn't as big a deal as
I tried not to. I think that what it is you're looking for red flags. And if the red flag pops up, you go back and you investigate it. You know, guy didn't run so well, why? Guy's Wonderlic test isn't so good. Is there a reason? I need to get in front of him. I need to talk about him. You know, maybe he doesn't read as fast as, you know, player B. You know, it's all those things. It's just putting the puzzle together and trying to come up with the best, you know, the best pick you can make. But once again, I think that having the NFL experience that we have on our staff, which there's not another staff in college football that has the NFL experience that we have. We have 4 Super Bowl rings. And I've been affiliated with 19 Hall of Famers, Pro Football Hall of Famers. So we have a wealth of knowledge to share with our players to try to prepare them for the next level. And I think you see it pay off on a day like this. Now, it's their hard work, but at least we're able to give them some guidance.
Between the pro days and the combine, when you were in the league, was there one that you tended to weigh more heavily than the other?
The pro day, because you got to get your hands on them. You got to spend more time with them. You know, they were in their environment. At the combine, it's typical that those guys might get 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. You know, it's really hard to perform well at the combine. But once again, what the combine is, it's an opportunity to get every single prospect under one roof, doing the exact same drills, getting seen by all the doctors, getting interviewed by all the teams, you know, so you're getting a consistency. But I always thought it was the pro day is what I put more stock in. You know, these coaches, these scouts and coaches and GMs have been in here since 8 this morning. They've been watching film. They've been talking to our coaches. You know, I had a meeting with them where I was able to talk in detail about each player. You know, what his football character is, what his personal character is, you know, what kind of leader he is, you know, what kind of work ethic he has, what kind of teammate he is, you know, all of those things. And so it's just all putting the puzzle together.
What do you
On a
think of
day like
Cassius?
Cassius
Trying
was
out tight
amazing
end.
today. Cassius, you know, these guys that were out here today aren't going to go to another school where a guy like Cassius is going to do what he did. He worked out as a defensive end, he worked out as an outside linebacker, he worked out as a tight end. So you talk about versatility. I mean, that's amazing. I've never seen that. You know, I might see a guy who was a defensive end and do some pass drops. Or you might see a linebacker that they're projecting as a down guy do some pass rushes. But I've never seen a guy work out at defensive end, outside linebacker, and tight end. And I think that that's, you know, that goes to show you, you know, Cassius's athleticism, his stamina, and then our willingness to play guys where they can help us win.
Do you think he, you know, may have a future? Do you get the impression that maybe a few teams might want him at tight end?
I don't know about tight end, but I think there was a couple teams that were interested in him as an outside linebacker. You know, he reminds me a little bit of a Kevin Green type of guy. You know, maybe a guy in college that wasn't a great pass dropper, but if you got him on the edge and you got him matched up on a back, which sometimes you can do as a 3-4 outside linebacker and pass rush, that he was going to make you pay. A guy that can move in space. We know he's got good hands from working at tight end. So, you know, I think there's a lot of interest, a lot of intrigue with Cassius. You know, he was one of the guys that I spoke about most with these guys when they came in and said, "Tell me about Cassius. You know, what is he off the field? What is he on the field?" And I think they're very interested in seeing where Cassius fits.
What specific red flags are you looking for at pro day that you might not be at the combine?
As an evaluator, you know, attitude. You know, you get up person, you're reading, you know, facial expressions. You know, you're listening for guys muttering under their breath. You want to see guys that can compete when they're tired. I mean, you try to break them out here. You know, you're going to try to break them as a coach or a scout, and you want to see those guys that, do they give in a little bit? Do their shoulders slump, or do they bow up and keep going? You know, you're looking for everything. I mean, you're just a sponge taking in information as a scout or a coach or a general manager.
Jordan was talking about, you know, during or at the beginning of his senior year, he was hearing, you know, late round pick, and now it seems like that's gone up a lot. Is that just his improvements, or is that maybe people are starting to notice him?
Well, when you have a game like he had in the bowl game, you know, I think that helps. He went to the Senior Bowl and he had a great week of practice. You know, he was very prepared. He spent a lot of time with Coach Olbrich preparing for the Senior Bowl. Remember now, Coach Olbrich played in the Senior Bowl, so he knew what to expect at the Senior Bowl. Jeff had told him exactly what to do. I've coached in the Senior Bowl, so we've been able to help him along those lines. But I think what scouts like about Jordan is his versatility. He can play inside, he can play outside. He's going to be a dynamic special teams player. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just goes and goes and goes. He's always got a smile on his face. I mean, you know, scouts like that. They like that a lot. You know, he jumps out at you. He might not run a real clean shuttle, but he'll go knock a guy down. You know, they like that nasty attitude he brings.
Are there any injuries that are looking that like they might linger into spring at this point?
For these guys, or are we going to our team now?
Our team now.
Yeah,
Or
I
your
mean, there's
team
a
now.
few, but I'm not ready. We're talking about these guys right now. You're jumping ahead, Jack. Come on, man. That's not fair. Yeah, we can talk about that later.
After seeing him out there today, would you draft Jeff Garcia or in what round?
You know, Jeff Garcia has improved so much. And I can say that because I was on the field his very first day as an NFL quarterback. I was the defensive coordinator at San Francisco. Jeff came out from minicamp. Bill Walsh had hand-chosen him. And I remember saying to Greg Knapp, the quarterback coach, after that first practice, walking in going, we're in some deep trouble. This guy cannot play in the NFL. He was throwing ducks all over the field. Now, the one thing Jeff has is heart and grit, and he's a tough son of a gun. And just seeing him out there today, I mean, he looks strong early. He may be faded. You know, what is he, 42, 44 now? But he looks strong early. I think he's a viable number 3 for somebody. Clipboard holder, get in there late and make some things happen. He'll compete.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thanks, Jim.